We're told we're free, free to choose, free to speak, free to live however we want. And in a way, it's true. We have choices, more than any generation before us. But is choice the same as freedom? We can scroll, swipe, order, comment, quit, start over, move on, endless options, endless motion. But deep down, many of us don't feel free. We feel tired, scattered, unsettled. If we're so free, why do we constantly reach for stimulation? Why do we feel anxious in silence? Why do we need to be told what matters every 5 minutes? Maybe freedom isn't what we've been sold. Maybe the constant ability to choose has become its own kind of cage. Zen asks a different question. Not, what can you do? But, who is choosing? Not, how many options do you have? But, how deeply are you here? Real freedom, Zen suggests, has nothing to do with what you can do. It has everything to do with what no longer controls you. We didn't plan to live this way. Nobody wakes up thinking, I want to be distracted today. But somehow, distraction has become the norm. We check our phones before our eyes fully open. We scroll while we eat, talk, walk, even while pretending to listen. We consume so much and remember so little. This isn't laziness, it's conditioning. The systems we live in don't profit from your clarity. They profit from your attention. So they train you, notification by notification, swipe by swipe, to stay shallow, to stay restless, to stay consuming. And over time, we confuse this constant motion with freedom. We think, I can go anywhere, watch anything, do everything. But we've lost the one thing that made freedom real, our ability to be still. Zen sees distraction not as noise, but as a form of escape, not from boredom, but from ourselves. Because silence doesn't just remove input, it reveals what we've been avoiding. And for many of us, that's the scariest sound of all. One of the greatest modern myths is that more choice equals more freedom. But have you ever stopped to ask, who's offering the choices? Who decided what your options are? You can choose a dozen streaming services, but not to live without distraction. You can choose a career path, but not to opt out of the grind. You can choose what to post, but not whether to be seen. This isn't freedom. It's a menu, curated by systems you didn't build, influenced by desires you didn't choose. Zen doesn't care how many options you have. It asks, did you choose to want what you want? Because if you didn't, you're not free. You're just following a script. A very sophisticated, very invisible one. True freedom doesn't mean having more things to choose from. It means the ability to step back and see the whole game. And in that seeing, you may find the only real choice that matters. To stop playing by someone else's rules. So if freedom isn't found in choices, where is it? Zen points to something deeper, something always available, but rarely owned. Your attention. Whatever holds your attention, holds your life. If your attention is scattered, so are you. If it's hijacked, so are your values, your energy, your time. But if you can direct your attention consciously, you reclaim something powerful, not just focus, sovereignty. Zen teaches that freedom begins when you no longer follow every impulse, every thought, every noise. It's not about avoiding the world, it's about returning to the one thing that can't be automated, presence. In stillness, you begin to notice. You can choose where to look, what to nourish, what to release. And that ability to stay with what matters, to say no without anger, to say yes without fear, that is freedom, not given, not bought, simply remembered. Stillness sounds peaceful, quiet, restful. But for many people, it's unbearable. Because in stillness, there's nowhere to hide, no tasks to distract you, no noise to drown you, no screen to pull you away, just you and everything you've avoided feeling, the regret, the grief, the questions without answers. In silence, the mind turns inward, and what it finds there can feel heavy, messy, unclear. So we run, not from boredom, but from truth. We fill every moment with sound, motion, stimulation, not because we want to, but because we're terrified of what we might meet in the quiet. Zen calls this turning toward the wall, sitting still, facing yourself, with nothing left to project onto. It's not easy, but it's the only way through, because what you fear in the silence is not some monster. It's simply you, without the noise. And maybe that's not something to fear, but something to finally meet. You don't have to go anywhere to be free. You just have to arrive, fully, where you already are. But that's harder than it sounds, because most of us are split. Part of us is reliving the past. Another part is rehearsing the future. Very little is simply here. We check our phones to escape this moment. We chase goals to avoid its emptiness. We tell ourselves stories to fill the silence. But freedom, real freedom, begins the moment you stop running. Not from your past, not towards some perfect future, but from the belief that here is not enough. Zen doesn't ask you to transcend your life. It asks you to enter it completely, breath by breath, without resistance, without performance. Because only in this moment, in this breath, in this body, in this simple, fleeting now, can you truly be free. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. To be free, you don't need to escape your life. You need to return to it and stay.